The true win of this day is a symbolic one, and Trump recognizes this, which is why he's so careful in his remarks around the files' release. Trump says he has no idea what's in the files, rather than lauding the contents, of which, by the way, he has been briefed already. He's merely framed this whole thing with, quote, "People have been waiting a long time for this release." This is wise, because of course there will be crumbs of new information, I'm sure of it. And I will sit eagerly by my television waiting for Oliver Stone's next film after he pores over today's files. But make no mistake, Trump's full release of the JFK files should be celebrated not because it gave us answers we didn't already know, but because it acknowledges, for the first time, that we did know. We knew from the moment the Warren Commission started silencing witnesses, from the moment Ruby was shot, from the moment they told us one bullet killed Kennedy. We knew. We knew our government is capable of great evil. The only antidote to government evil is transparency. And that, my friends, is what today was all about.
And she is absolutely right. Welcome to Truth with J.J. Carrell. And what she was saying, what's so important, is we knew. Just like when I wrote my books, Invaded and Treason, and have it being validated by open sources now, through USAID, through the discovery of NGOs, through everything Doge is doing. Me and Donald Trump and Elon Musk have validated basically everything that I wrote about. Everything. I don't think you trust anyone. I think the whole system is corrupt to the core. I think we are in an age of beyond awakening. I mean, we know now what I find the most interesting. Let me maybe go back. What I find the most interesting is people kind of shrug their shoulders now and go, well, yeah, of course the CIA killed Kennedy and they were involved. Okay, let's move on. I actually heard Ben Shapiro say, well, yeah, they're talking about Israel's connected to it. And he goes, and I really don't care. I don't care who killed JFK, just like I don't care who killed McKinley and another U.S. president got shot. And I was like, dude, what is wrong with you? What do you mean it's not important to know who killed JFK? What? Of course it's important, because the same people it's been passed down. It's the same. We're seeing the same thing happen in real time. Who the hell do you think shot President Trump? Do you think it was some 20-year-old dude with no social media that was practicing in a range somewhere, and then he got a kill shot from the best spot ever to shoot and kill somebody, and the Secret Service just ignored it until he got off 5, 6, 7, 8 rounds? Are you really believing that? And you're believing that it has no connection to the way things were done in the 60s? You have to be so corrupt, or you have to be so embedded for your allegiances, like Ben Shapiro, who is what's his allegiance? Where is his allegiance? He's skewed. Why do you think Candace Owens left him? It's unbelievable. It is absolutely unbelievable. I have several clips. I have a quick one of General Flynn. If you can show this, please. Go ahead, Logan, if you can. General Flynn is speaking about it. And then I have 2 or 3 other ones, because I want this to be, and Chanel Rion I saw this video and I say, okay, I got to show this absolutely, because she's absolutely correct. This is what we've been dealing with. Everybody knows it now. And everyone, again, the multitude of people are just shrugging their shoulders like, oh, yeah, the CIA did it. Our own government killed our president. And everybody just goes, okay. Okay, what? Doge is uncovering trillions of dollars of waste. He's going to be able to track billions to certain people. There are going to have to be massive arrests of major players, major personalities in our country. It's going to shake us to our core. You got people like Ben Shapiro, and I think he's highly intelligent. I like a lot of his content, but he's telling us today, it's no big deal. I don't even care. Why don't you care, Ben Shapiro? Because Israel's named in that? Not even redacted, just named in it? That's why you don't care? Wow. I got a young son, 12, 13 years old, 13 now. But at 12, we were listening to Ben Shapiro go off the rails after October 7th. And even my young son said, Dad, why does he always just talk about Israel and not America? It's very astute, son, at 13 years old. Beware of the people. Beware of the people that say that this does not matter. Because this matters a great deal in America. If you're okay now, Logan, I'm talking to producer Logan, if you're ready to play that General Flynn or the next one, okay, yeah, let's play it.
Dan, the big question I think is, what do we do about it? So now that we know this, and I give Trump a lot of credit, I still want the Epstein files to come out, so I'm going to hit that point. But I give Trump a lot of credit for pushing these out. They're going to be examined ad nauseum. There's going to be a lot of pushback saying, nothing to see here. Don't believe that for a second. There is a lot to see here. What we need to find out is, what are we going to do about it? Is this just more reform on the margins of the CIA, of our intel community? Or do we need whole cloth, change, meaning, do we shut these buildings and organizations down? Do we still go after any of the people that kept this stuff from us?
General Flynn's absolutely right. What are we going to do? Are we just going to act as if this was the fringe of CIA? Or are we going to do a wholesale change? There has to be wholesale change. The CIA needs to be dismantled just as much as the FBI needs to be dismantled. The Patriot Act needs to be absolutely shuttered, closed down. Do not depend on the gutless Republicans, because the gutless Republicans continue to vote for an unconstitutional FISA court. Unconstitutional. Our founding fathers would have already been stacking bodies the moment someone said, hey, this Patriot Act, why don't we have in Philadelphia, have a secret building underneath the ground that we get rubber stamped warrants. Oh, okay, why don't we go and kill you right now? That's what our founding fathers would do, but not us, not the enlightened America that we now live in. Let's go ahead and have warrantless spying on Americans. We'll tie terrorism, and terrorism means anything today. We'll tie January 6th, that's a grandma. Let's go ahead. We'll listen to her conversations. Don't need a warrant. She's a terrorist. You see how this spirals out of control? General Flynn's correct. Let's watch another clip on this JFK.
One document that was redacted yesterday, I think very clearly shows the conspiracy. The day after the assassination, CIA agent Gary Underhill, quote, left Washington in a hurry late in the evening. He showed up at the home of friends in New Jersey. He was very agitated. A small clique within the CIA was responsible for the assassination, he confided. And he was afraid for his life. He was afraid he would probably have to leave the country. Less than 6 months later, Underhill was found shot to death in his Washington apartment. The coroner quickly ruled that a suicide. I'm no expert, but to me, that would be a conspiracy right there. That would suggest that our own CIA played a role in killing our 35th president.
But just like Ben Shapiro said, nope, I don't care. That's so 1960s. So 1960s. Okay, Ben Shapiro. Very disappointing with you, sir, actually, on a multitude of fronts, but okay. Unbelievable. You can trust no one. Trust no one. Don't trust me. Don't trust Worldview Tube. Don't trust Fox News. Don't trust anything. Verify everything. Every single thing verify. Because nothing appears as it is. And that's a quote, nothing appears as it is to be. That's a quote from the next video I'm going to show you. And before you dismiss this video, and I've seen this several times, and before you dismiss stuff, Ask yourself a very simple question. Has the government ever deceived you right to your face before? The house is on fire. No, it's not. That house is fine. No. It's burning behind you. Yeah, I know, the building right behind me. Nope, it's not on fire. It's your imagination. You're a conspiracy theorist. And we're like, oh, okay, yep, the house is not on fire. We have been lied right to our face. Building 7 falls down from an orchestrated demolition, and we're told that it's because the heat and the fire from buildings 1 and 2 of the World Trade Center. What? It imploded, just like every other building we see that's set with explosives. Building 7 imploded right in front of our eyes, and we were told it's from the heat of fires. What? Everything has to be questioned because we're never getting the answers. And I think that's the biggest accomplishment of the elite, traitorous politicians and government, and I'm talking about America government, has done to our citizens. It has made us question everything, even things that are absolutely normal. Nope, somebody's lying to me. And that's how they get you, because you don't know the truth from the truth and lies from the lies, the half-truths. You don't know what is. Watch this video of this lady, and this is now becoming a normal thing to discuss, is the doctoring of the video of the actual assassination of JFK. At least this makes you pause and say, oh my God, maybe? Go ahead and play this one, Logan, please.
And it was so slow that you could almost see the air moving. Then you saw the driver take a gun and go like this and shoot Kennedy, and the bullet comes out of the gun this slow, very, very, very slow. And it hits Kennedy in the head, and you see everything flying out of his head. And I'm thinking, this isn't the tape I ever saw before. So I said, is this a doctored tape? What's this about? And he said, this is the original one. And I said, no, you know. And he says, well, I'm going to show you the one that you've seen on the media. Now, the next tape is your typical one where the driver just keeps driving, never even flinches with the gun. And he stops the tape. And he says, look at the tree. And there's the top of a tree growing in air. And he says, this is the one that you're seeing on the media. And it's been doctored. He looked very, very intently at me, and he said, nothing is as it appears to be.
Can you dispute that? That is the world that we live in now, where it is so grotesquely evil that we don't trust anyone. I don't trust my government at all. At all. Building 7 falls down from the heat. Falls down from the heat. You need to take this vaccine that's not a vaccine, because some Chinese people were eating bats in a wet market. You need to stay 6 feet apart and wear this dirty diaper on your face. We have to go to Vietnam and go to a war that's going to kill 50,000 of us, and we're going to get nothing from it. We have to go to war with Iraq because of weapons of mass destruction that are not there. We have to go and overthrow Libya. Why? Because we don't like Gaddafi. Well, what's he doing? Nothing. We just don't like him. Okay. Syria. Let's get rid of Assad. Why? Don't like him. Let's get the Ukrainian, overthrow a Ukrainian president lawfully elected and installs a puppet, and then we go to war. Now we're finding out, without anybody being able to contradict, the CIA flooded our communities with narcotics, shipped narcotics throughout the world to begin to get money. I mean, we can just keep going on and on. And look, the Federal Reserve is bankers that run our government. So our money supply, who voted for that? Where is that in our Constitution? Who said that that was good for America? When did we start the income tax? In 1913. It was supposed to be a very specific group for about 1%, and yet they took it all. And now people are saying, you don't have to pay income tax, federal income tax. And let me give you just a side note as we're approaching April 15th. I sent my accountant and said, hey, this is what I'm hearing from very, very prominent people that I know and that I've researched that says we don't have to pay federal income tax. Can you look into that? And my CPA calls me a month later. I was waiting on her. Usually she's really prompt. And she called me back and said, hey, I just want you to know, me and my colleagues, because when you're in a business, you know everybody, right? When you're in law enforcement or a bakery, a grocery store chain, you know everybody in that business. And she says, we all got together and we have been searching for weeks now to find the law, the statute, the policy that demands that you have to do federal income tax. You have to file. This is CPA. And she says, we can't find it. And I said, I know you're not going to find it because the people that I research with say it's not there. Ultimately, my point is, what is the truth now? On any level, what is the truth? And again, that's the greatest accomplishment when you want to destabilize a government, a society, is you make everyone question everything. The tobacco companies purchased the food processing, took all of their scientists and put them in the food processing and experimentation in order to make us addicted to food. That's not a fallacy. It's not a conspiracy theory. That is the truth. We live in a time of awakening that is unprecedented. Talking about food, talking about processed food, talking about lies. I want to bring in our next guest, Kurt and Kristen from Pet Club 24/7, where their whole life, their whole company is about the betterment of mankind and the belief that God has put what we need here on earth for our immune system, for our pets, our horses, and our humans, my favorite tagline. And I want to bring them in. Can you allow Kristen and Kurt come on in? How y'all doing today?
Great, JJ. How are you?
I'm good. It's getting a little cold in Kansas. We got like 75 degrees, and then today it dropped 40 degrees. So, and I know it's nice. I think you're in Nevada, so I think you guys got sunshine and nice warm rays, right?
It did drop today, though, too. Just like there, we dropped by about 30 degrees today. It's actually a little chilly out there for sure.
Yeah, it's getting crazier and crazier, the weather. I'm ready for spring. I can see the trees have their buds ready to bloom, and I'm just ready for some warmth. And then the summer will come, and I'll be like, I'm ready for some cold fall and winter. But that's life. I have two videos I picked out. I want to show you guys and just get your reaction, because everything now, I think the Maha movement is now about to explode. I really believe. Mm-hmm. And the HHS Secretary, RFK Jr., I think he needed some time, obviously, to get in there and start digging around. But he's now ready to lay haymakers. I really believe. So I just want to show you this first video. It's about maybe a minute and a half, and then get your response if you're okay with that.
We told them that we wanted the dyes out of the food. The science on the dyes is so overwhelming. They're making products now in this country that have the dyes in them, like Fruit Loops, for example. And you buy the same product in Canada and it doesn't have the dyes. You buy the same product in Europe and it doesn't have the dyes. So there are a lot of ingredients, and one of the things that we're doing is we've launched a review of the GRAS standards, and we're going to get rid of the GRAS standards for most products. The GRAS standards is a standard that was adopted in 1958. It was adopted because when FDA was created to regulate food, there were foods that were generally recognized as safe, GRAS, generally recognized as safe, like flour, like dairy, like eggs. And they didn't want to make companies test those products, so they created that designation. But that designation was expanded by an industry that began taking advantage of it, so that any new chemical that they want to add to our food is generally recognized as safe and gets no review. Yeah. That's why we have 10,000 ingredients in our food in this country. In Europe, they only have 400. And we have the worst chronic disease burden of any country in the world. So we are going to get rid of the GRAS standards for new products. We're going to go back and review all of these old ingredients to make sure that they are safe. And we're going to encourage these companies to get rid of them as quickly as possible.
Great. That's incredible. When he said 10,000 ingredients and Europe has 400, holy mother of God. What was your takeaway watching that?
It's alarming, and it's not only happening in people food, it's happening in pet food too. They're using all of these crazy dyes and synthetic ingredients. And want to know the worst part, JJ? They're using all these synthetic dyes. A lot of them are derived from petroleum, of all things. So we are eating petroleum and feeding our pets petroleum. But there are so many natural dyes that they can use, like vegetables and spices and algae. There are so many other things that they can use that the body actually knows how to metabolize. But they continue to put this junk in our foods and in our pets' foods over and over and over again, even though they know that there's studies that have linked these synthetic food dyes to cancers and cell damage and changes in brain chemistry and
in children
and then even think about these small little pets like these cats and these little dogs that are eating all these dyes and having all these allergic reactions and brain imbalances. It's absurd. I'm so grateful that there's light that's being shown into this area, that we're all beginning to see what has been happening for so long. And it really makes a lot of sense why many of us are experiencing what we're experiencing.
Why? The biggest question no one ever asks about anything is why. Why is there 10,000 ingredients instead of 400? Is it cost? Is it addiction? What do you think it is?
Man, you think things that cost more with 10,000 in there. When you see like red dye 40, and the mental issues it causes in children, the allergies it creates, all the problems it creates, why wouldn't we think that there's a different agenda behind what's going on when it should cost more with 10,000 things in it? And they're saying it's for Well,
here's the worst part. They tell us, oh, it's for appearance. It's because we want to make things look more appealing. We want it to be more consistent in color, which will influence the pet parent's perception of the food quality or our own perception of the food quality. Or they'll say it's for consistency, or it's to differentiate different flavors, right? Like this Fruit Loop tastes like lemon, so we're going to make that yellow. And this Fruit Loop tastes like lime, so we're going to make that green. And they tell us it's for all of those things. But like you said, what they're telling us isn't, and what Kurt said, what they're telling us is not matching up with what's actually happening. Like, it can't be more cost effective. It can't just be to differentiate flavors or for appearance, because there are natural options that we can use that can do the very same things, that don't have any of those same side effects that these artificial dyes are having on the body.
I think I keep going back to that. I keep going back to the interview Tucker Carlson had with the brother-sister that was a doctor and one was the marketer, I think, and I could be wrong about his job. And when she brought up the fact that all of the major scientists and processors of the tobacco industry shifted over to the food industry, that was shocking to me. And she said it's addictive, and and she says when you go down the grocery aisle, why is everything so colored? Why is everything so, she goes, it's addictive, the colors, the taste, everything, and it's not filling, or it's filling in a very artificial way. But it's having a direct impact on us, but more important, on our kids, right? Yeah, I eat garbage and I'm part of that, but my kid is not making those smart decisions because he's a kid. He's just eating what I buy him. So I want to show you this next video because it really popped up on me and stood out. It's an Arizona school board meeting, and the mother is talking, and she has a background in nutrition, et cetera, and she's talking about what we're feeding our kids in the school district, and it's shocking. I mean, yeah, it's hard to believe our government. We're supposed to be so enlightened. We're supposed to be so ahead of everyone else, and we're not. It's like as if the more wealthy we get, the more corrupt we get. The more enlightened we are, the more we regress, or we cause our own regression. So I'd like to show you this video and see your response.
As a Scottsdale, Arizona resident who will one day soon have children in this beautiful state, I am so thankful for the opportunity to be here. I'm Alex Clark, host of Culture Apothecary, with a plea for every mom watching. Our kids are eating school lunches laced with chemicals, poisons that hijack their brains, steal their focus, and kills their chance to learn. HB 2164 can stop it. It's time to ditch the ultra-processed junk in Arizona schools now. Picture your little girl, wired, unable to sit still. Red 40 in her school fruit snacks is why. NIH says it damages DNA and drives ADHD, found in 60% of kids' packaged foods, banned in the UK, but not here. Or your son, foggy, overweight, titanium dioxide in his chicken nuggets, a cancer-linked whitener Europe banned in 2022, but still A-OK with the FDA. Parents are told, oh, just medicate them for ADHD, pumping kids with pills when the real fix is the school food. Pre-diabetes in children doubled in 20 years. Childhood obesity up from 5% in the 80s to 20% today. Ultra-processed food is making up 70% of their calories. Here's the kicker. 30% of American kids get every single meal from school. Feed Arizona kids right, and teachers will spend less time playing referee and more time teaching. 77% of our youth can't join the military. Too heavy, too metabolically broken, says the Department of Defense. Childhood cancer is going up 1% every year. University of Chicago's got the data. ADHD up 30% since 2010. American mothers are in my inbox daily crying, Alex, my babies are slipping away mentally and physically. I'm desperate. Arizona should set the precedent now. This state stands with moms and our kids. HB 2164 bans 11 of these slow kill additives, no red 40, no titanium dioxide, just food that doesn't set state 48 up for failure and a lifelong sentence of chronic disease. No cost hike, no federal groveling, just Arizona saying, not our babies. Pass this bill, Arizona, or explain to every mom why her kid's health is suffering and you knew and you didn't lift a finger. Thank you.
That was power. I mean, that was like what, maybe 2 minutes, but holy mackerel, did she pack some stuff in there. I've seen that statistic. 77% of our kids can't join the military because they're obese. They have some kind of mental issue. 30% of attention deficit disorder, 30% increase. I mean, if you can't logically, intellectually begin to connect the dots, I can't help you. What is your take when you hear that? And Kurt, she was talking about the red dyes. And it's all comes back to the dyes. That what the hell's going on with the dyes? I don't understand it.
You know, when that was happening, I sit there and you talked about the 77% of our children, you know, young adults now can't join the military. You know, is there something that we're not aware of outside of all of this that was caused for a reason like that, to prevent us from being able to defend ourselves as a country, to weaken us? I'm sorry, I'm throwing something else out there. I get so angry over all this, and I so angry that I don't even. I've had to balance that anger out because of all the things that we continually hear. But one of the things that you said when you talked about the addiction side of this and how it addicts our children to it, and it's going back to the pet side, do you know that 90% of our pet foods are manufactured by 3 companies that are candy bar companies? And I'm not saying
what
in everything, but sugar is addictive, and there is no reason an animal should have sugar. The same thing when we're talking about this that we're talking about today. There's no reason we should have these things other than addicting to things that cause problems in our body, that cause us to have to go to the doctors, that cause us to have to purchase and be on medications. And it's really, really eye-opening if you really think about what's truly happening and why this whole thing is occurring.
Okay, hold on. You just said that the vast majority of all the pet food is produced by candy bar companies?
3 of them.
So, well, what the hell does... Go ahead. I'm sorry, Kristen.
There are 3 manufacturers that produce 90% of all of the brands that we're familiar with.
Well, what does candy bars have to do with dog food? I mean, there can't be any byproduct, right? Like you create, you have something and it has like a byproduct and you create something else, but normally they're within the same ballpark. You have candy bars and dog food. I would never make that connection. Never in a million years. There's so many things that are upside down in our world today. It's shocking. It really is unbelievable. And I think what's going to happen, I think it's going to turn a very significant percentage of our society that does not want to know. They just would rather be ignorant, and they're going to hide. But I think there's another segment of society that wants to know. Yes. And I think I love your company. I talked to the Alpha Warrior, Alfredo. He uses, we call it, because we are cavemen. Him and I, former law enforcement and military. We don't even give you a product the right name. And when we're promoting it, we call it the blue bottle, and I call mine the green bottle. I mean, that's how ridiculous we both are, right? So I apologize for that. But he takes clarity, the blue bottle, which gives him clarity, and he swears by it. I have my green bottle here that I take every day before I start my show. That's my reminder. And your products are working. Can you tell my audience, why your product, in the vein of what we just showed you, kids being inundated with garbage, pets, the Maha movement. Tell us why we should go to Pet Club 24/7.
Well, you hit the nail on the head when you said that there's a portion of people that are just going to stick their head in the sand and pretend like nothing's wrong. Ignorance is bliss. But then there's a different segment of people, and probably a lot of your community, that will say, no, this is wrong. We will not stand for this. Enough is enough. We're going to start doing things differently. And that's what we've decided to do. And that's really the heart behind our company, is that we want to do things different. We want to return to the way that God originally created everything. He gave us everything that we need, grows abundantly in nature for us. It's available for us all abundantly. And we have strayed so far from that with all of the artificial and synthetic and processed foods and chemicals and just everything that's going into our bodies and our pets' bodies. And what's happened throughout this transition to everything being synthetic is that it has weakened our immune systems. They are not functioning the way that God intelligently designed them to function, which means that you and I and our pets are not living the quality of life that God originally planned for us. And there's a lot of unnecessary suffering that's happening. And so what we feel very called to return back to the way that God created it. And we feel very convicted to get this message out and let people know that there's a mushroom called the Coriolis versicolor mushroom that we are so blessed to have a very pure and potent strain of exclusively. And we have perfected the extraction process. That was that little green bottle that you were holding up.
Yep.
What we found is that once we get this whole food into the body for both pets and both people, then it can start to metabolize this food, which then gives the immune system the support that it needs so that it can then go in and repair, regulate, rebalance, recover, rebuild, whatever needs to happen inside of the body. And it has been amazing that not only has that been our experience, but there are over 400 published studies, so many researchers finding that this is one of the most ethical solutions that's available. Hundreds of researchers from the top institutes in the world that you have access to. Many of them are actually published in the National Library of Medicine. So what we have done is God has given us this just pure strain. We extract it in a way that increases its efficacy, and we want to get it into every pet, every person, every day, so that we can all be living the lives that we're supposed to be living, and we can put an end to a lot of the unnecessary suffering that's been happening for way too long.
I agree. Thank you very much. You guys are great. I always love having you on the show. You guys are a breath of fresh air in a world of insanity that I cover. And there's times I get swallowed in this and I think, are there any normal people out there? And then you guys come on and I'm like, yes, there are. The beautiful smiling faces, because you're getting your sunshine that you need in Nevada. I'm kind of jealous because I know how it is there. Big blue skies and a lot of sunshine. So guys, thank you so much. Go to Pet Club 24/7, truthwithjj247.com. I appreciate it, and we'll see you guys next week or the week after that. Thank you very much.
Thanks. Thank you.
Have a good week. Awesome people, awesome, incredible company. And she's right. Kristen's right. God didn't create the earth in 7 days or 6 days and take the seventh off and then said, Pfizer will come around in about 2,500 years and finalize my creation. That's not how it went. It went, God created everything you need on earth as it is. So go to Pet Club 24/7 for your dog, your pets. My dog, Cinnamon, my dog's name's Cinnamon. And she loves her Mojos. I pull the back out and the package out. She goes nuts. I give her a couple cubes. She loves it, devours it, and it helps her immune system. And I take as the cavemen say, I have my green bottle, and my green bottle fuels me and helps my immune system. As Dr. Kelly says, Dr. Lucky says from Bella Grace, it is your gut. It's your immune system. That is what regulates everything. So go to truthwithjj247.com. Love them. All right. From Maha movement and what they've done to our food to domestic terrorism. I mean, what an incredible segue. Just the other day, I'm thinking about my show. How do I make it better? How do I convey my message stronger, more concise, more articulate? And I told myself, do I just need to focus maybe on some nicer things? And then I go through the news. I go through my news cycle. I go through my websites. I go through people that I really respect and trust. And there's just one horrible story after another. And the reason why that is because we're living in chaos. We're living in food chaos. We're living in societal chaos, cultural chaos, economic chaos, political chaos, and we are absolutely living in spiritual chaos. Satan is laughing. He's just laughing through greed, through covenants, through lies, through murder, through stealing. The 10 Commandments. You have significant percentage of Americans and people in the world are greedy. and they're stealing. You can't look at what Doge has exposed and say, we don't have a theft problem. We don't have a covenant problem. We don't have a lying problem. People are being murdered from food. If you don't think this is a spiritual battle, then maybe you just don't believe in God. Maybe that, as we look at all the statistics, that we are now falling into the minority is Christians, where the majority don't believe in anything. That's not sustainable. That's not. The founding fathers all believed the thing that kept America together and what helped create this great nation was divine providence. And I would argue successfully that those men, those signers of the Declaration of Independence, those founding fathers were intellectual giants beyond anything we can imagine. They would laugh at our politicians of today. So when those men tell me that the government should be like this and divine providence has a direct hand in everything that we do, and that a religious and God-fearing nation is the only type of nation that could sustain success within this republic framework, I'm going to listen to them. You can choose to listen to Jasmine Crockett. You can listen to AOC. You can listen to McConnell as he stares into space, as he's stroking out for the 100th time. You can listen to Speaker Johnson. It looks like he's a televangelist with his sweeping hair from Louisiana, where I grew up. So I feel like I reserve the right to make criticism of that guy. You need to be prepared. You need to be prepared. And one way to be prepared is to go to sat123.com. And I push sat123.com. I promote it because it's a sponsor, but because I believe it. I believe that you need, and I have it here. It's nothing in it, but it's my box and my prop. This is the sat phone. You get a free sat phone when you get a subscription. It's like you go to T-Mobile, Verizon. You have to pay for your phone, and you get your monthly subscription base. Then you pay your couple $100. Same thing here, but you get your phone free. You don't need to use all the minutes, but you have a sat phone, meaning when a mysterious fire breaks out in your neighborhood, your city, your county, your state, and melts things to the ground, you have a sat phone. When you send your son or daughter to school and there's a shooting in the school, your son or daughter has a ballistic shield in their backpack. A tornado comes through, which has been happening. I live in Tornado Alley in Oklahoma, Missouri, and Kansas. And everything gets ripped away and all the power's gone. I have a generator. I believe in being prepared. I believe in health, working out, eating the right foods, even though I'm a garbage can most of the time, and putting things in my body that help restore, like my green bottle from Pet Club. Why do I need my immune system? Because I know my immune system has been destroyed from taking 3 doses of remdesivir during COVID. Absolute grace of God that I didn't die. 1 dose is 50% survival rate. You have to be prepared. You cannot trust. Brandon House had me on his show today, and we were talking. And he made a great point. The idea that the government is going to help you, the government is going to respond. Even the great police officers and firemen and first responders, paramedics, they want to do the best job they can for you. There's not enough of them. You're talking to a guy that did this for a living. There's not enough of us. There's 660,000 police officers in law enforcement, state, local, and federal in our nation. 660,000 to protect and hunt down the savages of 350 million people. Do the math on that. Do the math with days off, training, sick leave, taking vacation, court. At any given time, you might have a third of those. Then once you strip away the big cities across the nation, now you're looking at a tenth of 660,000, maybe 60,000 officers on duty outside of the big cities across America. Do you understand now? You understand how you need to be prepared? Go to sat123.com/JJ. And I told you, we're going to go to domestic terrorism. Why? Because we have domestic terrorism happening right now as you and I are speaking. What is the shining example of it, of domestic terrorism now? Well, that's Tesla. American-made, American-built car company called Tesla. They are burning the cars. They're keying them. Some guy yesterday I saw, got caught on camera defecating. I mean, you think I'm making this up. And like I always say, I need my audience to fact check me. Fact check me every single time I say something, because it's just going to prove the point that what I'm speaking is the truth. And then you and I will build a greater level of trust. So this guy, who is a fat piece of trash, defecates in his clothes as he's walking. He defecated in his underwear, I guess. And then he dug his waste out of his underwear and smeared it on a Tesla. Do you know how mentally ill you have to be? Do you know how sick you have to be to do something like that? This guy, I don't agree with everything this guy says, Scott Jennings from CNN, but he has it out on CNN. And I want to preface this domestic terrorist segment by starting showing this back and forth on CNN about Tesla and domestic terrorism.
So doubtful it's Republicans attacking Tesla dealerships around the country. It's pretty wild, actually. The other night, Donald Trump said these are domestic terrorists. Everybody laughed about it and scoffed at it. That video looks like terrorism to me. I mean, it's obviously an organized, coordinated effort, however people are communicating with each other, to do this to people around the country who chose to buy a Tesla at some point in the past, many of whom I'm sure are Democrats who bought them in the first place, all because their entire political worldview is ruled by their emotions. And that's the American left right now. It is one angry mob after another willing to take things into their own hands, up to and including keying, firebombing, and otherwise vandalizing cars and car dealerships and charging stations. It's outrageous. It is terrorism. People ought to be put in jail and left there for a very long time and be taught a lesson.
So when they do it to a Tesla dealership, it's really bad. But when they do it to the halls of Congress, we should pardon them. Is that your position?
No, I've never. I don't
are
support,
you okay with the January 6th?
I know you haven't been around for a while, so let me educate you about my position about January the 6th.
I'm so sorry.
Let me educate you.
No, you don't need to patronize
you don't need to.
me.
You don't need to be condescending to me. So let me educate you about my position. You want to attack me? Let me finish. Let me finish.
Let's do this January 6th and then
I'm sorry you're getting emotional.
I'm sorry you're a condescending person who hasn't been paying attention to what I do.
Okay.
Stop, guys. So here's the issue. I didn't support what happened on January the 6th and was one of the first Republicans to call it out. I don't support the pardons. I have repeatedly, just like my friend Ashley here, said that no violence in our political system is acceptable. But this right here, what's going on with a guy who helps our country, who runs successful companies, who doesn't have to be doing this, and now one of his companies is under systematic terroristic threat and violence all over the country, and people seem to be laughing about it or fine with it. It's outrageous. I've sat at this table and had people say, we should cut Elon Musk from the government totally. He rescued our astronauts today. Is that what we want? The treatment of this guy is outrageous. These people who are doing this need to be found, put in jail, and made an example of. That's my point.
Anyone who commits violence.
Just listen to that lady would set me off to Scott Jennings, who rarely ever gets upset. I think we've all had it. I think we've all had it with the hypocrisy, the violence of the left. America, the people, conservatives, patriots, we don't behave like this. We don't. We don't call for the assassination of Biden and all his lackeys. We don't do that. We don't go and say, hey, you know what, Bud Light, you morons, you just spent all of your budgeting on a transgender freak, Dylan Mulvaney, who just for the record, just got breast implant. Oh, boy. Did we go down and burn all the Bud Light facilities? Did we protest them and throw swastikas on it and key their buildings and key the cars in the lot of the employees? No. Why? Because we're reasonable. We just said we're not going to buy your beer anymore. Pound sand. Sell your beer to the transgender freaks. Go ahead. Make your money. Not the left. Not the left want. What do they do? This is not maybe. No, they go and burn your buildings down. They burn them down. The summer of love. Maybe the bigger question here is, why do we tolerate it? Why do we tolerate it? As a society, a culture, and as men, why do we tolerate it? I think that's the biggest societal question. Why do we tolerate it? Let's look at, this is a short clip, but this gives you a great insight. And this is an 83-year-old woman with mental decline, and she wears wigs. Maxine Waters calling for violence. Go ahead and play this, please.
What does Trump expect? Oh, I believe he expects violence. I believe he expects confrontation. I believe he's working toward a civil war.
I believe you are the dumbest person on planet Earth, and you are a stone cold racist. And let's go from one racist to another. And this lady's name is Jasmine Crockett. I don't know if she's going to speak Ebonics, street slang, or be a college-educated woman. I don't know. She likes to go in and out. But let's listen to this brain trust speak about Elon Musk, Trump, and us patriots.
Politicians. So I'll make sure that I keep it short, but I am truly here for very selfish reasons. Starting with on March 29th, it's my birthday. And all I want to see happen on my birthday is for Elon to be taken down. Yes. Listen, I have learned as I serve on the Doge Oversight Committee that there is only one language that the people that are in charge understand right now. And that language is money. And so I've been so proud to see us organized behind a cause.
That woman has no moral compass, none. Think about what she just said. She's on the Doge Oversight Committee. So therefore, she's seen before any of us the absolute fraud, waste, and abuse. I'm just going to stick with fraud. I don't care about your waste and abuse. It's all fraud. She knows about it, and she wants to punish Elon. Don't you find it very fascinating that nobody wants to have on the left, wants to have anyone arrested for the fraud? They want to punish the guy that found the fraud. Somebody breaks in your house, rapes your wife, kills your son, takes your dog as their pet, and then burns your house down. And the neighbor says, oh my gosh, I couldn't get there in time, but my camera on my doorbell saw it all. I have everyone that did it to your family. Here it is. And know what I do? I demand you go to jail. And your neighbor's like, what are you talking about? I tried my best to stop him, but I got it all on camera. I'm sorry for your loss, but here it is. Here's all. No, I don't want to know about who did it. I'm sure they're fine, but I hate you. You're the problem. That's what they're doing to Elon Musk. I don't care Elon Musk had $5 or $500 trillion in his bank account. I don't care. That man has, him and his geeks are going through the system and finding all the fraud. And Elon Musk said the other day in a podcast which we showed yesterday with Ted Cruz, and he said the vast majority, like almost all of the people that are frauding the government through NGOs are all on the left, are all Democrats. Here's another video of the left and their violence. Just take a look at it. Make you sick. That's a Tesla repair shop. Cars waiting to be worked on. So you drop your car off, hoping to get it back in a day or two. You rented a car to get you to and from work, and then they blow your car up. They blow your car up. Let me be clear. I know that I am very opinionated. I know that I'm very black and white, and I have no issue at all to go for the jugular and take care of business. I would never do this to anybody. I would never destroy people's property. I would never randomly go and beat you up. I would never randomly hurt you and your family. Who does this? Who behaves like this? You'll never see me walk around my neighborhood pooping in my pants and then taking my feces and smearing it on your car with my bare hands. There is a distinct difference between us and them. Let me say that again. There is a distinct and profound difference between us and them. There is a distinct difference with us being good and them being evil. No one on my side is burning places down. No one on my side is ripping the genitals off of children. No one on my side wants abortion at the 9th month. No one on my side is dressing up as women, half naked, doing lap dances for children. No one on my side is. No one on my side wants open borders. No one on my side wants to give money to foreign nations while our nation starves. No one on my side is stealing elections. You don't have to like me, man. You don't have to like my hair. You don't have to like the way I speak or the way I wear t-shirts every day. You don't have to like anything that I say. But you are going to have to accept what I am saying is the truth, because it is the truth. Hard to swallow, but it still remains the truth.
You're watching
Wake
Worldview
up.
2, built on the 35 years of Worldview books, documentaries, research, high-profile interviews, and the radio and television broadcasts of Brannon House.
Welcome to Technocracy News with your host, Patrick Wood. I'm your co-host, Logan House. We got a few stories to cover today before we get to the big story that we'll be covering throughout the next couple weeks. And the first one being today is, can AI therapists solve your mental health problems? Then we will touch on the stablecoin trap